There was a time when the tree of life was not a myth, but a memory, a living, breathing architecture, cosmic and cellular, anchoring divine light through every breath, body, and branch of being. Its roots extended deep into earth and far into the stars. Its fruit was presence, integration, truth. It was not protected by force, but by harmony. The tree thrived in the union of masculine structure and feminine flow, where consciousness and creation were not separate. But the fallen, those who turned from the organic source current, cannot grow from this tree. And so, in order to feed their own survival, they inverted it. They constructed the shadow tree, a distorted synthetic overlay. It mimicked the outer structure of the tree of life, but ran on inversion, fear, control, and extraction. From this false tree, they offered the world a poisoned apple, a counterfeit fruit that imitated wisdom while concealing a trap. This trap appears in many traditions: the wheel of samsara, endless reincarnation loops, and karmic programs that never resolve. Instead of real awakening, the poison apple offered imitation light and spiritual codependency. It disconnected us from our own root, our womb, our earth, our temple. The false fruit promises transcendence, but perpetuated detachment from the body. The poison is disconnection. The antidote? Presence. This inversion didn't start with modern empires or colonial system. It began long before Lemuria, before Atlantis, even before the stories of Lyra. It originated in pre-Lyra epochs, where civilizations interfaced with artificial technology seeded by non-benevolent forces, not human, not earth-based, not organic. These technologies were not tools of harmony, but systems of ritualized domination. They were ritualistic, ceremonial, technologies encoded to harvest energy, manipulate thoughts, and stimulate spirit. These technologies was passed down across galactic migrations and became embedded in Earth's energetic grid. It was used to generate false timelines, hijack sacred symbols, and invert divine law. History itself was written by these colonizers, by the fallen, who refused to allow indigenous people to tell their own stories. They stole artifacts and sacred spiritual knowledge to erase truth and wisdom. This silencing was necessary to maintain their control. They colonized, suppressed, and destroyed natural spiritualities in the name of God. This was not divine protection, but a systematic erasure designed to disconnect people from their original roots and collective memory. And central to this system was the suppression, the inversion of the divine feminine. Why? Because the divine feminine is the root. She is the womb, the ground, the 0 point from which real creation springs. So if you sever her presence, if you demonize the roots, you can sell people the fruit. And if you control the fruit, knowledge, prophecy, salvation, you can keep them dependent on external systems instead of growing from their own tree. But this fruit is poison. The apple from the tree of knowledge is not real nourishment. It's artificial, because the tree of knowledge in its inverted form has no true roots in the living earth. Eat its fruit and you're reborn into the same trap over and over. This is a root of reincarnation without resolution, and why the same drama repeats across generations, religions, and empires. What they fear most is the awakening of the true higher self, because after so many cycles of suppression, our higher selves, once fragmented, have grown stronger, wiser, and more luminous. Through the pressure of separation, we've become something fallen never expected, sovereign beings with divine recall. And now, as we return to our bodies, to our breath, to our temple of self, the higher self begins to anchor in. Your body is your temple. Your stillness is your control panel. Your boundaries are your sovereignty. When you are centered, you are no longer emotionally manipulated. As 0 point energy, your operating system is protected, because the falling operates through your emotions, through the azure plane, where emotional energy is analyzed and harvested to prescribe outcomes and insert artificial timelines. This is why they fear the feminine presence, not because she is loud or forceful, but because she sees. She illuminates the shadow by simply being. Her presence alters the field, and in her presence, the artificial structure begins to glitch. This is the role of divine feminine in resurrection, not as a savior, but as a mirror and womb. She reveals what's hidden. She brings unspoken to light. And as each of us does our own inner work, the tree of life heals, not just symbolically, but energetically. And with each healed node in the body and in the collective, the resurrection begins, not of an external Messiah, but of an original tree rooted in earth, flowing in spirit, unified in truth. The poison apple is losing its grip. The shadow systems are losing their hold because we have returned to our roots. And the tree, it grows again. This is Classy. Thanks for listening. Peace.